Oh, sorry, I missed that totally. I was checking something else. So yeah, this is the run started. Um, so yeah, this is the prologue, and in the prologue we are constantly jumping because that saves over 1 second in this entire prologue, around 1 to 2 seconds. But you only see it in the prologue because now we have to dash. So just jumping becomes from the fastest way to move to one of the slowest. So yeah. So entering chapter 1 is like there's nothing really crazy going on. I would say chapter 1 is like a fresh warm-up of all your speed tech, because you have to use every speed technique in this chapter. Like you have to use wall bounces, you have to use hypers, dash jumps, extended hypers. I don't know if there is an extended dash jump you have to do, but yeah, everything else is needed in this chapter. So yeah, it's a nice warm-up before every race and before like the hard parts of the game coming up. And Vallu is already going for some like interesting looking strats. Like the one room he did very differently from most runners. I don't know that much about Vallu in Celeste. I just know him as a 3D Mario speedrunner, like Sunshine, Galaxies and stuff. He's running the 602 and he's like I think the best one in that category yet. So yeah. And Nerd is as far as I know, a very new runner of this game. His PB is a 54, but yeah, he is improving like everybody else in the community. So let's see. Oh, he's not doing an extended hyper there, and he's just doing wall jumps. So yeah, very interesting looking. Meanwhile, Vallu just entered chapter 2. Chapter 2 is the chapter where things get a little bit more interesting. So you have dash blocks. They are fast-paced gameplay. We'll see pretty soon. And we will have and we will have Battlelands. So what he just did there is when you skip a cutscene, the game saves your height. And with that we can like skip the cutscene, and once the cutscene skipped, we end up being in the dream block already. So yeah, dream blocks you see already, you can dash through them, and they like dash will get proceed towards every direction you dash into it, and you can jump out of the dash blocks and you will get your dash back after you dash in the dash block. If you hit a wall inside the dash block, you die. You just saw on the loose screen a few times. And yeah, now you have Battleland. Battleland is like your antagonist in this game. But yeah, let's not talk about the story in the speedrun. And yeah, she's chasing us right now. We have to run away from her. And yeah, she's just copying our movement with a 3-second delay. And later on, she's adding more and more clones towards her army, I would say. So in the last room there were 5 clones of her. In the earlier rooms were only 1, and in the middle rooms were 3. Now Vallu is finishing, or about to finish, the dream section of this chapter, so right now we are in the dream section. Vallu is now in the awake section. Meanwhile, Nerd is in the middle part of the Battleland fight, or Battleland sequence in chapter 2. So the late part of this chapter is like casually very easy. There are no spikes. It's just a casual walk towards the end. But in a speedrun where you want to be very fast, you gotta like optimize your movement very well, because there are a lot of corners that can messes you up, and the last few rooms to do optimize is very hard. So between a good, like between a world record runner and like your average runner, you probably lose there 10 seconds or something, or 5. like average low level runner, you use 20 seconds, 10 seconds. So yeah, Vallu now in chapter 3. Chapter 3 is like, it's the first chapter you're going to hate as a newer runner. To be honest, like chapter 1 and 2, there are a few tight tricks and threads you might learn in the beginning, but this chapter you have those dust bunnies moving all around in cycles, and you have to be optimized with your movement, otherwise you mess up the cycle. Yeah, caused a lot of pain in the newer territory of people who are learning that speedrun. Yeah. So yeah, cycles are dirty as always in a speedrun. Cycles, how are cycles based in the game? There are two kinds of cycles. One a transition cycle and one a death cycle. The death cycle is different from the transition cycle, just to keep in mind. So like, I think the death cycle is a little bit behind the transition cycle. So if you want to be very optimized and want to have a backup plan, you gotta learn both cycles. Sorry, I was drinking something. I'm just a human, not a robot. So, back to the game. Vallu just entered the big map, meanwhile Nerd is a little bit behind Vallu. Like, okay, not actually a little bit. Like, a minute or two, I would say. And yeah, Vallu is just in the big mass section. So what's the big mass? The big mass is like the biggest part of this hotel, of this chapter. And we have to go through 3 different sections in this hotel, where at the end is a switch we have to hit to remove a certain item in the hotel. Like we just saw, we removed all the books. Like we are cleaning the hotel technically. We are working for the hotel, like we are just a simple guest and now we have to work. Like that's how fast the lives change if you are a video game hero. Anyways, yeah, we do them always in the same order, but technically you can do them in every order you want to, but if you want to be fast you have to use that order always, because there are reasons for it. The main reason is because in the big room, Oshiro appears always at the same spot. The first he's in the middle, like when you enter the room for the first time, and he's at the bottom, then he's at the top. So we want to do the order bottom, top, mid, so when we finish the bottom, he's at the bottom already, so we don't have to travel that much in the big room. That's like the main reason for it. And also nicely, some rooms getting easier in that order, in my opinion. Vallu is now in a very cool room, like pay attention to Vallu real quick. If he gets the trick, like that looks very impressive for me, it looked very impressive. So what he just did there were 4 hyper dashes with like the same amount of jump height, with the same input technically, 4 times in a row. It looks very insane, and it's kinda hard from even Vallu, who's I think top 16 in this game, to stay consistent at, so yeah. Yeah, Vallu is now in the Oshiro section, which is like the last part of the hotel. Oshiro is the owner of the hotel, as you already might know, and he's now chasing us because we make them upset. He's also not RNG, like there's no RNG part in this game. So it depends on which height you are at a certain amount of time. So if you move always the same, he never should be a problem for you. And yeah, Vallu just finished this chapter with a few deaths, but so far pretty good time. Meanwhile, Nerd Squad is at the tower section, and his stream has some lags there. Very unfortunate, so can't really watch him all the time, but I try to catch everything I can catch from him. So yeah. Meanwhile, Vallu is in Chapter 4. Chapter 4, Golden Ridge, is a very short chapter. Like compared to the other like mid-late game chapters, this is the shortest. Like only like Chapter 1 and 2 are shorter, but this is the third shortest. And yeah, but it's still very hard. Like for newer runners, this is probably not the shortest, the third shortest chapter. Yeah, there are a lot of optimization going into this chapter, and a lot of like more difficult tricks. And the new game mechanics for this chapter are moving blocks you will see on Vallu's screen, but not in use. Now you will see one in use. So once you climb to them or stand on them, they're going to move, and they move very slowly. You can change their direction on some of them. Yeah, then you have wind, which is very obviously, it pushes you back or forward. Depends on how the wind is blowing. You have bubbles, which are like an additional dash in the air. You get your dash back when you were in a bubble as well. And you have clouds, which are like a trampoline you just saw on Vallu's screen. You can combine them with a dash jump to get more height and distance. And yeah, that's all with the game mechanics. Clouds feel very smooth in this game. Like, yeah, once you run the game a little bit, it feels very natural how to use them. And also how the wind is programmed in this game feels very natural and well made. So yeah, you won't get frustrated because something is not well made. You will get frustrated because something is annoying. Like the wind in a casual playthrough is annoying because the wind the wind affects you on doing everything, but on dashes. And in the speedrun we are constantly dashing or using hyper dashes and stuff. So we have an easier time on a speedrun to get over this wind than in a casual playthrough. So yeah, Nerd is about to finish finally chapter 3. With like, for his PB, he's currently on a very good time, I would say. Like I wasn't that good when I was at 54. But yeah, the chapter's not over yet and the hard rooms are coming up. Meanwhile, Vallu finished, and I didn't catch his time, but I think his Golden Ridge was probably something between 3 and 4 minutes. If not, something above 4 minutes, but not above 5 minutes. I wouldn't think so. So, yeah. Now Vallu is in the Mirror Temple. 2 new game mechanics for now. Dash blocks, move whenever you dash, very simple. And red bubbles, move infinitely into a direction until you hit a wall, spike, or you dash out of them. You will get your dash back if you don't dash out of them, but if you dash out of them, you have no dash afterwards. And that's both the game mechanics for now. So yeah, Vallu now entering the in-mirror part of Mirror Temple. So Mirror Temple is technically split into two parts, and in-mirror temple and an in-mirror part. So in-mirror is like more the creepy and terrifying place. Meanwhile, the mirror temple itself was just like dark and unfamiliar to us. So in the mirror we are facing our like nightmares, our how to say it, our fears, and yeah, we have to like fight against it. That's like how far story goes in this part. And yeah, so now we have those seekers. Seekers, once they see us, they're going to charge at us, and they can be very helpful because you just saw they can activate switches, they can destroy red blocks, which is sometimes helpful, and you can jump off of them to knock them down. And like they can activate switches even if you knock them down. So yeah, and you will get your dash back once you jump at them. Now up in, okay, never mind, in 3 rooms with that room, Vallu is going to show us, okay, he's in high, he has a hard time once I'm talking about this. So yeah, very soon he's showing us a very important trick, I assume. Otherwise, yeah, that wouldn't be a speedrun, honestly. And this very important trick is called Search Skip and saves a couple of minutes, like 2 to 3 minutes, depends on the runner. And it's very easy to perform. The thing you have to do is, you have to do a reverse extended dash jump. He just did there. To get over the gap, and the extended part of it means that you keep your dash to like get over the final bit of that gap. And that's everything. Meanwhile, Nerd Squad got there, I would say, a safe. Like, it's very hard to catch his stream if he's lagging sometimes. But yeah, he's going for a pretty hot threat there. So what he's doing, he tries to do a wave dash off of these little blocks, which is kinda tight, and he has to do an extended wave dash, which is even harder. He just misses the extended part of the wave dash. Let's hope we will get it soon. Meanwhile, Vallu is in the Theo section, so the Theo section is one of the more fun sections for me personally. But yeah, it's also a really frustrating part of the run for a few runners. Also for the newer runners, it's probably the most annoying. And he just threw Theo into death. Very interesting looking. Like, that looked very funny. He just stand there and like, okay Theo, goodbye. And he just killed him. Very, very funny. Yeah, so Theo slows you down when you're holding him, but when you grab him with a dash momentum or any kind of momentum, you will gain extra speed. And I don't know how the developers came up with that idea, but honestly it works fine for the runners and it's a lot of fun. So whatever. And there he just finished chapter 5. Meanwhile, Nerdsword is about to enter the last part of chapter 4, which he now did. The last, I think, 6 or 7 screens. Or probably 8, but not 10 again, I think. He's now in. Or maybe 10. Like, something around 10. Whatever. Like the last part. The music is changing and everything is getting intense. And the wind is blowing harder than ever before. Yeah. So now Vallu is in chapter 6 already. Sorry that I'm sometimes quiet, but I have to check some things on this. But back to the race. So yeah, in chapter 6 we have those feathers, like the few new game mechanics are feathers. You touch them and can fly through the air. Very obviously and self-explanatory. You have Kevin blocks. They named after Kevin from Power Up Audio, who made the sound effect. And once you dash into them, they dashing towards you. And you have bumpers. Very soon. See the first bumper? There it is. And bumpers are like pinball bumpers. You bump into them, they bump you away. Very simple. And yeah, this chapter, honestly, there's not that much going on. There are not even strawberries. Because there's a heart and a B-side tape, obviously, but there are no strawberries. Because everything is focusing on the later upcoming part, which is the battle and boss fight. But we will talk about this once we get to it. Meanwhile, Nerd is attempting on this skip. He got its second try, it seems like. But he died there at the bubble. Very unfortunate. He just saw kinda in the leg. So yeah, Vallu is rushing through this section. So far with a really, like, I think it's not his fastest time, but honestly so far really good playing through this. So yeah, now he's in the, like, Vallu is in the second of 3 parts of this chapter, I would say, and it's like the pre-battle and fight section, where you have the fairs and a few longer rooms you have to get through. But yeah, it's like only 4 or 5 rooms long before we have to fight Battle, and the battle and fight is going to be amazing. So that's the last room before the fight. You have this big cavern block. You can gain a lot of momentum off of it, and he's like probably going for that trick. Like, it's not really a trick, but it looks amazing. He nearly got it. So yeah, you saw how much momentum you can gain if you combine every momentum well together. So yeah, now in the battle and fight, get your Hayas ready. Battle it. We saw her earlier in chapter 2. You see her throughout the game the entire time. If we don't skip every cutscene, we actually get her in action. But in speedrun we just see her in chapter 2, 6 and 7. And yeah, she's now running away from us. We have to hit her like in a like good old regular boss fight. And once we hit her, she's getting into a new position or into the next room. And we just have to do this until she is done. Yeah. But until that, everything else is very normal for the game. So if you die, you reset the entire room, and not just that one attack of Battleland. And yeah. So yeah, Vallu now in the later part of the battle and fight, where things are getting more interesting. Like, there's just more stuff going on, and the music is getting more hype and stuff, and everything. And Battleland and the room itself tries to prevent us to get to her, like moving blocks. She's shooting lasers and red balls at us, all that stuff. But we are stronger than her, so so far Vallu is going really good in this chapter, like on a really good pace. in this chapter so far. Very impressive showcase by him. Meanwhile, Nerd is about to get the third skill. Like a decent time for his PB, I would say. So yeah, after every good boss fight you get a level up, because boss fights give a lot of XP, and level up in this game means you get a second dash and your hair turns pink, which is from a few runners the more important part about it. So yeah, now we have 2 dashes, which add a lot of more like interesting looking things we can do. Like now the game will arrive compared to the casual route very different. Like it will look very cool what the runners can do with 2 dashes. Like they do some rooms not the intentional way, completely not the intentional way, which looks very cool. And yeah, so the summit is just like you revisit every chapter again. It's like an exhibition of every chapter, like of every element of the chapters. We're not revisiting the chapters itself, like just the elements and the story of revisiting it, but we're not going through the same routes. But now with 2 dashes, so yeah. Just the final climb through every chapter or through every element of the game with 2 dashes. It's all what it is. It's very simple, but it works for the game. So yeah, Vallu just finished the Forsaken City part of Chapter 7. Now in the 1000 meter section is a representation of Chapter 7, of Chapter 2. Man, sometimes I have a hard time with these numbers. Yeah, you gotta be earlier. Like, the run is only about 30 minutes long. Like 40 minutes. Let's say around 40 minutes. So, you gotta turn into these races earlier if you wanna catch them. So yeah, he's now at 1500 meter section, which is probably the hardest part of the game itself. Like, a lot of hard tricks you gotta do, cycles everywhere because of dust bunnies. The most costly is deaths because the rooms are ridiculously long. So yeah. For most players, that's the hardest part of the game. Which is like, okay, to say that's the hardest part of the game. Now in the... But he got through that 1,500 meter section with like no problems. Like he didn't die, I think, there, so really good job by Vallu. He's just showing he's still a good runner in this game, but he's still like he's a good runner in this game, even though he runs a lot of other games. Now going for that. Yeah, okay, just got it. He went for auto-scroller skip because like these blocks are moving as fast as auto-scrollers, so we call them auto-scroller blocks sometimes. Or if we skip them, we call it auto-scroller skip. So yeah, very well done by Vallu. Got that like second hardest skip in the game. That's right, like second hardest humanly possible and consistent enough to put in a run list. That's the second hardest, I would say. So yeah, now in the mirror temple part, Vallu is, meanwhile Nerdsport is in the middle of chapter 6, so yeah, he's working on his like getting a PB. I think I would say he's on a good pace for PB, but yeah, we'll see at the end. Vallu is just like rushing through this game. Very, very impressive looking, honestly. But as soon as I speak about him doing something good, he's about to die. Like, that's the curse of a commentator. Like, that's commentator curse right away. Yeah, now at the last screen of 2,500 meters, going to be very interesting. I have no idea about his PB, but he's about to enter 3,000. Now on 3,000, so 3,000 is like the last tip of the mountain, I would say. So yeah, going to be very interesting. The gameplay is just like basic jump and run stuff. Nothing really crazy. The only crazy parts about this are the downwards and the upwards wind. Like, not crazy, but how to say it? Unique parts. So we have downward and upwards wind. It's like similar to horizontal wind, but vertical wind is like, yeah, very similar to horizontal wind. So yeah, now we have downwards wind, which means our jumps are lower and we fall faster. And later on we have upwards wind, where we jump higher and fall slower. So yeah, very obviously self-explanatory as well. Meanwhile, Nerd is in the battle and fight. Let's wish him best luck for that one and get in some Heiyas, honestly. Because Heiya is a lot of... I don't know. I really like it when chat spams Heiya during battle. So yeah, Vallu is now at the upwards wind section. But he's about to finish it already. And that's the last screen of Upwind in the game. So yeah, now at the last 5 flags, no wind, just you and the mountain and a few blocks, spikes, but that's all of the mountain. So yeah. Let's see how we'll do in the last few flags. That's the second last flag. Let's see. Last flag. I have no idea about this PB again, but so far it seems pretty good. I will ask him just in the interview then. And he's done with a 34-13. Well done, Vallu, well done, and GG's. Let's see if we can get an interview. I would really appreciate that. Yeah, you're right, Cracker Bean. So yeah, I'm just trying to get Vallu in for an interview. Meanwhile, Nerd Squad finish chapter at Battle and Fight with a good time for 54 time. He's on a really good pace and got a really good chapter 6, honestly. So yeah, sub 9 minutes for time above 50 minutes is really good, in my opinion. Good job. And then we have Vallu just joined us. How are you doing, Vallu?
I'm doing great, thank you.
So I assume that was not a PB very closely, is that right?
Yeah, it missed PB by about 5 seconds.
Oh, okay, very unfortunate. So where do you think you lost like the PB to? Like I assume you were in PB pace at a certain point, but where do you lost the PB? Do you think?
I think there was a major mistake in Summit somewhere, but I don't remember where.
I just saw you like in that one room with the 2 dash blocks. You died 4 or 5 times. Like there you probably lost a lot of time. Like I think it's the 3rd last room or the 4th last room, right before door skip. There you died a bunch. And yeah. I think you died once on door skip as well. So that might be like huge for like a top runner as you. Like a few seconds can make the difference, honestly. But yeah, but overall, I think you were kind of happy with the run. Is that right? Like, where was there a part you were in particular very happy about how it turned out?
Golden Ridge didn't have too many major mistakes like it usually does, so that's nice.
Okay, I get you there. So yeah, now you got like 7-0 in group stage, and you were first seed, so yeah, was expected from you. And how do you think are your chances for the bracket stage? Like, what's your goal you're aiming for? Like, on which placing you're aiming for? And do you think you can make any huge upset in the bracket later on?
I don't know who I'm gonna get as my opponent in bracket. I think since I'm getting good seeding, I think my first few opponents should be not too difficult.
Yeah, I think like your
Then-
first one. Sorry for interrupting you real quick, but I think your first round should be a fourth seed, and your second round should be a second seed, probably.
Oh, yeah, that might be tough. But I'll probably start like practicing more when bracket starts, maybe.
Okay. So yeah, I assumed right that you were the same Vallu who also runs a lot of other games like 3D Marios. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, pretty impressing. Pretty impressing. Is that right? I have no idea.
Impressive.
Impressive, yeah. Sorry, my English is sometimes bad. Pretty impressive that you still can keep up in this game, even though you run other games. Like I think most top runners only run Celeste for now, and you can kind of keep up with them. That's really good.
Well, this isn't like my main game or anything, but it is my favorite game of all time, so I still want to be decent at it at the very least.
Yeah, I can understand why it's your favorite game.
Yeah.
Like this game is really good. Is there anything else you want to say to like the speed gaming crowd, or you just want to point out in particular?
Get hyped for bracket, I guess.
Yeah, I think so too. So yeah, if that's it, follow Vallu if you want to see more Celeste sometimes in other games as well. He's a good 3D Mario runner. I just have to say.
Thank you.
Like I said once in the run that you are also like a good runner of 602, which is, in my opinion, a very impressive thing to do. And you run also Odyssey, I guess.
Yeah,
I assume.
I had
so
in Odyssey a few times.
if you want to see some 3D Mario action, I really recommend Vallu if you want to join any of the 3D Mario games to have a stream to watch. So yeah, thanks from your side. Thanks for joining. If there's nothing to say, I hope you will have a good day, and I wish you good luck in the bracket then.
Thank you.
Because that was your last group stage run.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah.
Thank you for commentating, and hope you have a good day as well.
Yeah, thanks. So, bye.
Bye.
So that was a neat little interview with Vallu. I hope he enjoyed it. So... let's focus back on Nerd, who is going through the toughest section of the game. I said, like, that's one of the longer rooms, which is really tough to deal with. So yeah. He's taking a slow way through these rooms, but that's totally fine. Like, he's still on a really good pace. Like, he can probably, like, he can PB obviously, but maybe, I don't think that he is able to sub 50, but sub 52, sub 53 should be a thing in this run so far. Now he is in the 3000 meter section. Um, yeah, it seems like he's not familiar with some of the speed threats, but that's okay. He can take the casual route as long as he don't die. That's totally fine. Like, even though if he dies, that's still kind of fine, but yeah, you can get down to a really good time with casual routing. More like with, like, let's say if you use 70% of the run casual routes and the rest of it is just like easy threats, you can get down to something like sub 50 or even lower if you die not that often. Like probably even lower by a lot. So yeah. Now in 2,500 meters, he's going through Mirror Temple's part. A lot of the Mirror Temple strats are kinda hard, so let's see for which one he's going. Yes, he's going for a safer route, like casual. Yeah, but really good. Let's see if he's going for key skip. Yeah, he is. Like, it's not really a key skip, because we still have to collect the key, but there we go. We are skipping like the normal way to the key. Yeah. Very good there by him. Yeah, so far no problems. He goes for like the casual like skip, literally. He's not going for door skip. I like it. Like, everybody who knows me knows that I don't really like door skip. Now in the last room, if you die here, you have a bad time. Like, you lose a lot of time. But so far it looks really good for Nord. Oh, never mind. There he goes. And yay. So now he has 7 minutes to finish with 3,000 meter. And then he would be at his PB. So everything under 7 minutes is going to be a PB. Looking really good for Nerd. But let's see, there's still anything possible. Like, can die at a certain spot 100 times and then there's no PB. So, but let's hope for the best. Oh, unfortunate fall down for a nerd. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, good. Now the final jump. Now just dashing up to battle him. Your best friend, literally. Like yourself should be always your best friend. That's something you gotta learn from this game. Vallu's time was a 34 14, I guess. So I think only a few seconds behind his PB. So yeah. I hope you got that less than perfect. Meanwhile, Nerd is is at the last 10 flags. Let's hope our best don't die. Thanks. Get through this. Oh, that looked very close, but he got it nice and safe. He's getting the flag. So he's on a really good PB pace. That could be like a sub 52 still. But he has to hurry up, but still sub 53 is also good for him, I would say. Last 4 flags. So yeah. Let's go, Nerd, let's go. That's a tricky flag sometimes. But he got it with no problem, so if he's not going to make any major mistake, he's probably going to be a 53-20. So yeah, there we go. And it's 52-20. Did I said 53? I meant 52. So yeah, GG's to Nerd. We probably going to have an interview with him as well, which would be awesome. So yeah, let's just check. So he just said he's not willing to go for an interview. That's totally fine. Like, we're not forcing anybody to an interview. But yeah, GG's to him, and GG's to his PB, and also GG's to Vallu, the actual winner of the race. So let's go real quick over something. Leave for both players a follow. They put a lot of work into the speedrun. honestly. Like some do more, some do less, but they put on an amazing show. They showed up in time. Like just try to support the runners as much as you can. They would really appreciate it. I would really appreciate it because that run was actually cool to watch. Like Vallu did a few cool things, and also Nerd got a new PB. Let's support him. Said he will get more PBs in the future. So yeah, here we have the links in the chat, and I'm just going to like cover more going on. Like we have some more Celeste coming up, I guess. Let's check. Where are we at? There we are. We have Mega Man X on Speed Gaming 2. You can check out. We're going to have Super Metroid on Speed Gaming 1. We have Final Fantasy 4 Randomizer on Speed Gaming 3. All in this channel on 7 p.m. EDT. So yeah, a lot of cool things. Just follow every Speed Gaming channel if you want to check out more competitive speedrunning, because Speed Gaming putting a lot of work hosting all these great tournaments. So yeah, there's nothing else to say. So my name was Flash177. I hope you all enjoyed that amazing run. Even though it was not a close one, both runners did their best. So yeah, and I hope we will see each other again in another stream. And yeah, bye and have a nice day or night, depends on where you live.